Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going over this light here. This is the Streamlight Wedge. If you're watching this video around the time I'm releasing it, the light is either out or it's about to come out. So new for 2022, and it is a cool design for sure. Definitely designed for EDC type of carry. Fits very well in a pocket, slim, doesn't take up a lot of room, but has a lot of output. It's rechargeable, and it's got some other features that we're going to get into here in just a second. This particular one here is in FDE. They also offer it in black. And I suppose without any more yapping, let's get up close and personal and sort of walk through the features of the light. Now that we're up close and personal, let's go over some of the features of the light and just the interface, those sorts of things. So we do have the clip here, and the cool thing about this clip is that it's reversible. So the way it's set up right now, my personal take on it, and obviously it's user preference, is that it's set up to be carried on the right side of someone, on their pocket, on their belt, whatever the case may be, because when you were to pull the light out, basically right there with your right thumb, you just roll it forward. Now, when I carry it, I actually have it on this side, but I just put it back in the factory configuration for video's sake. And the reason is I carry it in my left pocket, so that way I can draw a firearm and still use it in conjunction with it. That said, the good news is it is reversible. We did drop it a number of times, as you've probably already seen. You guys can see some scuffing there on it, but it had no issues in terms of function after the drop test. Also ran it in the ocean, and the only thing that happened to it was it got a little bit of sand in there and the actual switch became harder to use, but I just blew it out with some compressed air and it's back to normal. We do have our USB-C recharging port there, and that is waterproof up to IPX7, so not technically waterproof, but water resistant in that regard. So you don't have to worry about, like, again, it dropping in a stream or something like that. You just pick it up, pull it out, you'll be good to go. And then we do have our activation button here, of course. So basically, when you push it forward, it goes into the standard mode, which is the 300 lumen. And then when you push it forward, it bumps it up into what they call, I think, throw, which is like a temporary, I don't know the actual acronym, I'll roll it here on the screen. And they say that mode will last for 35 seconds in terms of battery life, but that's actually not correct. I'm actually holding it down just to kind of demonstrate what's going to happen to it. All that happens after 35 seconds is that it steps down in power. So it just steps right back down to the 300 lumens and keeps on going. So you don't have to worry about like using it for 35 seconds on high and not having any battery life left after that, because it's just not true. But that is the regulated portion of it. That's the R in the throw system. So there you go, it just stepped down. Not sure if the camera picked up on that, but that is all that happens. And when you release it, it doesn't go off, it just goes back to that 300 lumen mode. And then of course you can already bump it right back up into that high output mode there. And taking a look there at our bezel, you guys can see it's going to be a very wide type of output, which we'll get to here in just a second. It is not deep, and that's the way it's designed. And just in terms of size, we will show you guys what it looks like compared to some of the lights that we're going to compare it to. This is the MacroStream 500 lumen light. You guys can get an idea for the size difference there on it. It's definitely a little bit thicker there in that portion, but the MacroStream is wider in terms of what it would be in your pocket. And then another one that probably people are going to be looking at here, this is the Surefire Stiletto Pro. This is the aluminum version, the higher output version of the two. And you guys can get an idea there in terms of thickness as well. Similar design lights, different activation, of course, and different charging. But again, you can get an idea size-wise on it. And then the old standby, the MicroStream USB, excuse me. This one here is a 250 lumen high-low version. Great light. I just really like it. I've liked it for years. Carry it all the time whenever my wife isn't stealing it. And that's how it compares size-wise. And now let's check out the beam comparison. For those of you who are new here, the spot there where the iron fence meets the wood fence is approximately 35 feet away. Those trees there in the background are approximately 40 to 50, depending on the actual tree. And the output that you're seeing right now is from the Streamlight MicroStream, so 250 lumen version, real compact one. I carry it all the time. It's just a great little light. And you guys can get an idea there of the beam pattern as well. Now compare it to the Wedge, which is stuck in my pocket right now. It's out, and there you go. That is the Wedge on low. One thing you can tell is just how wide and spilly of a beam it has. It's just super wide. It is a wall of light type of output, and then you go ahead and put it in the high mode, and you can see the difference there. It's not a candela monster at all. That's typically because the actual beam pattern itself really just isn't focused. It's really wide, wide with a edge that goes out about 180 degrees. So again, for those of you that have the MicroStream, that's that output there. And then there is the wedge all the way turned up. And here we have the output on high with the MacroStream USB, and you can see there it definitely has a more focused hotspot than the MicroStream does there, right there in the middle, but it still has a good wall of light. It's not designed to be a candela monster either. I believe it's 2000 candela off the top of my head, but it is definitely brighter and just has a better output overall. And once again, we're looking at approximately 180 degree output of light. So if we're holding it here, it's right in front of me and I can see my feet with it, just for what it's worth. So it is illuminating just about everything. And then again, here will be the wedge on high and the wedge on low. And just for record, that is the MacroStream on low versus the wedge here in low mode. But again, once we bump it up, it really does turn it into a wall of light. And here's the output from the Surefire Stiletto Pro. You guys can see it's definitely not as wide of an output, but it has a better candela to it, a little bit more throw. And again, this is on high. And just for contrast sake, we will put it on low. There you go, on low. And then work through the various modes that it has to offer there. Versus, again, that's on high. And then we have the wedge here on high. Stiletto Pro on high. Wedge here on high. And again, the wedge just has a wider output overall, giving you really good situational awareness. But if you had to ID something at, 200 yards away, might not be the best option. At this point in the video, I think we've covered most of the things that are important for anybody looking at the light, with a couple exceptions. One thing I didn't mention when we were up close and personal is that the actual battery indicator is built into your switch here, which is kind of cool. So when it's charging, it's on red. When it's fully charged, it'll be on green. And then when you're using it and the battery gets low, it actually starts blinking red while you're using it. Whereas typically just having it on, I just flashed myself in the eye there, blinded myself. Just having it on, there's no light, but when it gets low, it starts blinking on there in red. And the other big important thing to talk about, of course, with anything is always going to be price point. And these ones right now, as of when I'm recording the video, are coming to retail price right around $80. So of course there will be a link down below in the video description if you guys are looking to pick one up. But I really like it. It's convenient. It has a common charging system, which I do like. It'd be great to throw in a car or something like that. And just if you already have your USB-C charger in there, and just plug it in every now and then to always have a good light on you. But I really do think it's an excellent EDC type of light. Obviously here on the channel, we tend to think about things in a tactical way or defensive way, and it's definitely not optimized for that. And the reason I say that is most of the one-handed shooting technique with a light is based off of something on the rear here, and using it in conjunction with that. It doesn't really have that type of interface, but for sure you could absolutely still use it. A couple different ways you could use it there and present the firearm, and that way have the ability to see things in low light that may be a threat to you. But for most of us, that's the exception of when we're using the light. So for everyday tasks and things like that, it's a very good light overall. It's had good durability, no issues with water. You can tail cap stand it for folks that want to use it to illuminate a room or something like that. But I like it, and I'm going to be carrying it for sure, provided my wife doesn't get her hands on it, because she does steal all of my lights. So there is that. If you guys have any questions about it, you can post down below in the comment section as always. You can also reach me over at all of my different social media here on your screen. We also have 2 emails here on the channel now. One of them is basically just all of the emails since the last video went out, so that way there's no tech giants censoring your eyes from my content, because even if you're subscribed here on YouTube, which if you're not, please go ahead and do so, but even if you're subscribed, a lot of times you don't see my videos in your feed the way they present it to you, so that way the email just goes to you and there's nobody censoring that. And then additionally, we have a daily deals email, and that one here, if this thing goes on sale or if it's not in stock yet, when it comes in stock, we'll send it out over there in that email so you guys can pick it up either on sale or at a cheaper price. The same is true for lots of different products around the internet. And then my content is also over at the Warrior Poet Society Network now, and it's free over there. My content is, because it's not the greatest content, as you know, if you're watching this video. I kid. But they also have premium content over there, and there will be a 10% discount code if you're looking to sign up in the video description as well. And I think that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.